welcome back to another video on my channel. As mentioned last week, this week I'm going to be talking about my experience living in residence. And for those of you who may not know, I come from a small city of 30,000 and I moved to this huge city of about 3 million, and they were not super far apart. I think to drive here it only takes an hour and a half-ish. But because of that, I had to move here, and I was lucky enough to get residence. I almost didn't get it. I got it like 2 weeks before I was supposed to move. So it was very scary, very nerve-wracking, and I was just hoping for the best. The first thing I want to say is I did not get the room that I wanted. I had come down the year before university and gotten a campus tour kind of thing on the open house day, and the room that I wanted was basically they took a hotel and they revamped it for residences. And so the room that I wanted was a single bedroom with a bathroom in the room, so like an ensuite kind of thing. And that's what I wanted, because then that meant that I would have my own private area. I wouldn't have to deal with people walking in on me in the shower or anything, whatever. The room I ended up getting was in this little house that held 32 people in total, and I ended up having a roommate, and we had a shared bathroom on the floor for everyone on that floor. So that was kind of like the first thing that kind of got me like, oh crap. But I mean, I understood why that happened, because I lived way closer to the school in comparison to the other people who applied to residence. So I was very close to not getting residence as it is, so I just felt very lucky that I got a room at all in the long run. When this happened, though, I was kind of upset, but it was a cheaper option, which was okay. Meant that I didn't have to pay as much money and that I could live basically on campus and deal with all that stuff. Move-in day was kind of saddening for me, just because I was moving away from my mom and my brother and my dogs. And that was just very difficult for me. It was very weird. We had to be there for 10:30, I think. I can't remember. Because they had given us a specific time that they wanted us to try and arrive between. And so we had to wake up decently early. I think we had packed the car the night before, like first thing that morning or something. And I had a lot of stuff because obviously I was moving away. So I had all my clothes, I had my fridge, I had like all my accessories, nail polish, any toiletries I would need, my bedding. Like, I had a lot of stuff. And I mean, that's typical when you're moving away, especially to somewhere where you're not gonna get home every weekend. You need all that stuff with you. Obviously, I can't go without clothes. But so that was like move-in day. It went pretty smoothly. It was very hard to say goodbye to my mom because it was just so weird. But I made do. I am where I am now, which is weird enough because I still don't see my mom as often as I would like, which sucks sometimes. But it's kind of nice having your own freedoms and everything and being able to make your own choices, which is what residence really became for me. I mean, now I have 7 piercings in total and 2 tattoos. So it's like moving really became like good for me because it let me make my own choices, become my own person, and really figure out who I am. That being said, residence was not all sunshine and rainbows. Like I said, I was living in a house of only 32 people, so a lot of us got pretty close pretty fast. And that was a good thing because it meant that we had friends and people we could talk to and everything. But it was also a bad thing because it meant that there were no ground rules set. It was very like, once we got past that awkward stage of meeting everyone began like pushing each other's buttons, and it just became very, I guess, hectic in residence. And sometimes you really didn't want to be there because of the people that were around. It was really hard for me to make the shift, first of all, but making these friends made it so much easier. And I made 2 really, really good friends living in residence my first year. And then unfortunately my one friend ended up moving out halfway through the year. So in December, well, January, I guess technically, when we came back from winter break, she ended up moving out and going back home, and she lives in the States, so she's really far and I miss her so much all the time. But I had a couple really good friends and a couple other people who really started driving me up the walls in annoyance terms, and that really made my boyfriend's house, where I live now, a safe haven for me, because these people, they weren't horrible per se, but they just definitely weren't people that I would have ever hung out with had I not been in residence, had I not really had any friends. Like, it was just that kind of situation. I know even now I don't talk to a lot of the people, well, probably like 99% of the people who lived in my residence. As mentioned before, I had 2 really close friends, and I only kind of talked to the one who moved back to the States. And the other one, she lives in town, but we don't see each other very often. So it's just weird seeing the shift from first year to second year, how that kind of happened and whatnot. Other than that, and the people kind of changing their attitudes halfway through the year and whatnot, residence was okay. I really stopped staying there, especially during second semester, so January to April, and really started staying here a lot more. And people kind of like made fun of me and said like, oh, you don't really live here anymore, like blah blah blah, all this stuff. And I was like, unfortunately I do, like I still pay, haha, I'm here. So I would really just stop in and get clothes and stuff for here and anything else that I needed, and then just come here every night basically. And I would go to my classes, not as often as I should have, but I still went. For the most part. I really stopped going by the end of the semester and was just trying to teach myself, which was not a good choice on my part. Highly do not recommend. Just go to your classes. It makes it so much easier. A really weird thing for me was that the bathroom was kind of like open concept. So anyone could go in at any time. We had 2 sinks, 1 bathroom stall, and then a shower. And obviously everyone on my floor really had to shower in that shower. It was the same on each floor. Everyone had the same 2 sinks, 1 shower, 1 toilet. And so it was kind of a free-for-all to get to the showers, and you wanted to get to it before the hot water would start running, and you also wanted to make sure that the water was not running too hot that you set off the fire alarms, because that happened because we lived in such an old building. And it was just kind of awkward because you were so worried that someone would like come into the washroom while you were showering, which did happen, but people on my floor bought shower curtains. So we had like, the way our bathroom was laid out was you would walk in, and then on this side there were 2 sinks, and then on this side there was the shower, a big like open space where you could like get ready and put your stuff and whatnot, and then the toilet stall. So people in my floor, my friend and I had bought the shower curtain for the actual shower because all they gave us was like this like sheer clear shower curtain. So we bought a solid shower curtain that you could not see through. And then someone else on our floor had bought a shower rod and a shower curtain to go between the toilet stall and where the wall for the shower is. So then you can't see in the little like square area. And that made it a lot better, less awkward going for a shower and whatnot. But it was still like super weird, and you could hear people come in, and like sometimes you had to go to the washroom when other people were showering, and it was just really weird, especially since I lived on a co-ed floor. So, I mean, every floor in that house was co-ed, so it was like guys and girls all the time, just like walking into the showers and whatnot. Living in residence was okay though. Like I've said, my building was really old, so last year actually ended up being the last year that it was opened as a residence, and they have since closed it because it is not suitable for people to live in, and that kind of makes it like slightly sentimental for me, because it's like, oh, I was like the last group of first years to live there. Kind of cool, right? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, that place needed to be closed probably like 10 years ago. Just how run down and gross it was. Like, we had a sewage backup in our basement right around Christmas time, so there was actual human poop all over our floor in the basement. It was disgusting. I had come back from staying at my boyfriend's for a couple nights, and the house, it just reeks because there's poop on the floor. And then, like, it's just, you don't want to be in that, you know? Living in residence, though, was a good experience. I do recommend it for anyone who can, because, like I said, you get that freedom that you may not have had before, and it was just, like, overall, I thought it was a good experience for me to go through. My boyfriend and I have decided, like, we're never having roommates ever again, though, because of everything we've gone through in the past, like, 2 years, basically. And, yeah. But I want to know, like, did any of you live in residence? Like, I want to know how that went, because I know some roommates become such good friends and whatnot, and, like, you've become friends for, like, ever. I know they say, like, your friends you make in university are, like, your lifelong friends. But I don't really totally see that. I see that with like a couple people that I've met, but not totally. So leave your experiences living in residence down below. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next week for a brand new video about my fabulous roommate from first year. Bye guys.